G'day and welcome to the Andy Gath Show. This is the first. Don't laugh, Jason. Because of you. So this will be the first and final episode of the Andy Gath Show. Got two special guests and also Jason Bonnington. But for some reason we're wearing sunglasses. We have no idea why. But Jason, you can carry on from here.
Oh, I appreciate it. Welcome to the Andy Gath Show by popular demand. I said it last week. If he maintained the rage, we'd give him his own show. He's done it. What a beautiful introduction. Knocked him off kilter a little bit there. We're all wearing sunnies because, the future's so bright we've got to wear shades. Spring has sprung. And also Andy thought he'd rock up in his aviators. So, Ryan Sanderson, welcome to you. You had him on top of your head, but now you're looking sharp with you. That's an unusual. What type of sunnies are they?
I wouldn't know. I just got them from the Charlton survey not too long ago. So they're probably about $20. So I'll take it.
Sorry, Andy. I don't want to interrupt you. It's your show.
Oh, sorry. I thought you might have borrowed them off your sister.
You got to be prepared, Ryan. When you come in here, it's a den, mate. It is a lion's den. You got to be very careful. There'll be insults flying everywhere. And now it's Andy's show. It could get worse. Keita, why are you wearing sunnies inside?
I don't know, and I feel pretty stupid, and it's actually quite dark. I can't see a whole lot, but I'll just roll with whatever you guys are doing, and it is the Andy Gath Show, so Andy's in charge.
Well, we could get a sponsor here. The Charlton Service Station currently signing an agreement with Cody Winnell and the team at Harness Racing Victoria. But for now, we've still got three sponsors. They can start with hip pocket workwear and safety. Whether you're celebrating a win or shoveling in the stables, you want your staff to look their very best. And you do that with uniforms from Hip Pocket Workwear and Safety. They have you covered for clothing, protective equipment, and plenty more, not sunglasses. Check out hippocketworkwear.com.au. Let's get stuck into the Andy Gath Show. And in parenthesis, in brackets, burning questions. The first of the Andy Gath burning questions written by me. Will class or manners win the day in the thrilling 3-year-old trot? I talk about race 4 in the program at Beckley Park on Saturday night. We'll start with you, Andy. It's definitely a race where we look at horses like Keyang Ninja and Loxley Lover and see all their untapped ability. But will they win the race, or will a Queen Elida, one that's likely to do everything right, probably get the job done?
Yeah, no, it is a really interesting race, and obviously the two that you mentioned have probably got the most ability, but the more chance of probably not getting things right. But Queen Elida is quite professional and generally goes quite well. Most starts and got good gate speed, but I'm a Loxley Lover fan. I just love what he's done so far, and I think going forward he's going to develop into a really good horse. So he's the way I'd be leaning, and I think he's getting better each run. And it is a tricky race, but I just love Loxley Lover as a horse.
I couldn't agree more. So if you could only have one of them for the future, it would be Loxley Lover. If you could only have one of them for Saturday night, it'd still be Loxley Lover.
Yeah, that's the one I'd be sticking with.
Ryan Sanderson, it's your first go on the show, mate, so make sure you speak eloquently, project your voice, and just lower the camera so we can see your beautiful smile. What do you think about this 3-year-old trotting affair? We've got, as mentioned, a couple of very gifted young trotters, but they might not do everything right. Who would you want in this race, both on Saturday night and going forward?
Yeah, I'm with Andy. I've always been a fan of Loxley Lover as well. Obviously, going into a trot race, you'd be pretty confident if your trotter was, had good manners and all that. And he's just on the improve, like Andy said, and he looks pretty hard to beat in that race. Unless you're Bangles from the other week, I wouldn't have thought if you galloped at the start, it'd be pretty hard to win from there.
Yeah, I think you're dead right. And hitching your wagon to Andy early in your burning questions, Andy Gath Show experience, very good idea, Ryan. You're a smart young man. That's why you'll go far. Skeeter, still don't know why you're wearing sunnies inside, but tell us, what do you like in the 3-year-old race? Who would you've got a little bit of a vested interest here with Beck being involved with Loxley Lover. I know trained by John Nissen, his first ever trotter, which is an amazing thing within itself. Who would you want on Saturday night? Who would you want going forward?
Yeah, look, it's a great little race. It's not only a small field, but plenty of talent involved. And I think overall, it's definitely going to be manners that will win the race. We saw with Keyang Ninja, he was looming into it like he was just going to put them away and win last time out and made a mistake and cost himself. Look, I'm leaning towards him. I just think he's such a talented horse. I think he can get the job done if he does everything right. Yeah, I'm with everyone else. I really like Loxley Lover. I think he's super talented and he's only going to get better the older and the more race experience he has. But yeah, I'm still just a little wary of how green he is and how he is still learning. So there is quite a few that could come out and win the race. Who's the Man obviously has the barrier draw against him. Queen Alita is first up, but she's a really nice filly as well. So really looking forward to just probably sitting back and watching this one, but probably just leaning towards the way of Kiyang Ninja.
Yeah, I think on Saturday night I'd want Kiyang Ninja, and going forward I'd want Loxley Lover, and they're the two that might do something wrong. So we're definitely going with potential over professionalism here. Second question of the Andy Gath Show here. First ever edition. It's going to be a wonderful staple for Harness Racing Victoria. Bring us a little bit of clout and cachet. Is brought to you by the Fresh Connection, who export Australian fresh fruit to more than 35 countries. Headed up by Damien Glengarry, who's the export manager and does a magnificent job. The Fresh Connection specialise in citrus, table grapes, Andy's favourite. He's got some table grapes in the car right now, not on the table. Cherries and mangoes, freshconnection.com.au. The second question, Ryan Sanderson. Who will lead race 6 tonight, and will it be a bloodless exchange, or should we be prepared for war? You're driving Equity Stride here. We had a little chat off air, and I was just wondering, are you just going to have a genuine crack and say, look, I want the front off Blue Chip Delight, who's first up from a break? We'll talk to Andy about Mr. Fortunia in a moment, but it sounded to me as though you might take a slightly more conservative option.
Yeah, obviously that would have been ideal. I probably would have been a little bit more confident if he just looking at his recent form, he got out the gate okay, but I think Blue Chip Delight can hold its own, and I think if it wanted to post Mr. Fortuna, it probably could, but just looking at it first up, I think it will probably come out good and probably hand up to Andy, but we'll just have to take a forward place and hope for the best, and he's going really good off his last start, so hopefully all is good.
Is he ready to roll this weekend, or are we looking maybe a run or two down the track before he's totally screwed down?
Well, he didn't get a run last week, and he had a good hit out then. And first up the other week, he came home really good, and his heart rate was good, and he's pulled up good, and his track work since then's been really good. So yeah, I'm going into it pretty confident, and I think he's fit enough, and just depending on the race turns out, we just need to be close enough if we're good enough.
Just lower that camera, Mike. We're getting a little bit of Ricky Elchin action at the moment from you. We're hearing your voice, and I know your voice, so I know it's you talking. I know somebody else isn't talking, but that's better. We're getting nice some neck action now as well. A little bit of neck action. We're doing this show in Sunnies every week, by the way. We look so sexy, the four of us at the moment. Andy, Mr. Fortunia, this show used to be called Burning Questions, and on that show you tipped a lot of winners, and one of them was Mr. Fortunia. I don't think it's got the speed to cross the one if it really wants to lead, but we're going to have a crack.
Well, he'd definitely have a crack. He's got really good gate speed. Probably last start at Ballarat, we all thought he'd probably lead, but eventually a horse handed up to him and he had to work pretty hard to get it. So as quick as he does get out, at this level, metro level, they all get out pretty quick. So, no doubt the first 100 be really quick and see what happens. He's a horse that can fire up a little bit. He has settled quite a lot recently in his races, hasn't got quite as aggressive on the bit. So, Kate will go forward the first 100 and see what happens, but, they'll probably have to hand up to him for him to cross him, in my opinion.
And do you think there's a chance that will happen? Because they're two pretty nice horses. I mean, the key here is Blue Chip Delight first up from a break, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. He's a quality horse, Blue Chip Delight. He's a horse I had my eye on in New Zealand, and I couldn't afford to buy him, but Emilio could. He's a really nice horse, and they might want to take the easy option first up and follow us. I don't really know, but again, Mr. Fortunio, it's a big step up class in rise for him, but he's getting better all the time, and if he does lead, he's probably an each way hope.
Well, Emilio's giving you Wolf Stride, so do you want Blue Chip Delight or Wolf Stride? Your call, Andy. Which one do you want?
I'll stick with Wolf Stride at this stage.
How magnanimous of him. The Andy Gath Show. Holy jeez. Skeeter, your thoughts on race 6?
Look, I actually thought Mr. Fortunio was potentially a good chance of getting across both of them. I thought both Equity Stride and Blue Chip Delight both had a good gate speed without being great, but it is a little bit tricky. We've only haven't seen them race, a stack over here, Blue Chip Delight. So, yeah, I thought Mr. Fortunia, foot to the floor, might be able to get across, but it's going to be interesting. I think there could be a bit of speed on early. We saw last night Diamond Party obviously breeze and put a fair bit of pressure on, so I'm not sure whether Joe Pace will be going forward and keeping it an honest race. But I think if that does happen, it brings a few of those back markers into it. But it could be a quick run, I think.
Yeah, it's actually building my confidence about a horse who breaks my heart regularly. And would you mind? But even the idea that Mr. Fortuny doesn't get the front, gets a bit fierce. There could be speed on here. There could be speed on for the second leg of the quaddie. And that's going to suit potentially Ryan as well if he doesn't get involved in that early war with Equity Stride. Third of our, Andy Gath Show questions. Third of our Andy Gath Show questions. Can Western Sonador hold his rivals wide in the Minuteman, and will Wolf Stride roll him regardless? We'll go to you first this time, Andy. Western Sonador didn't get out that great last time we saw him, but I think he's got a lot more early speed than that. The question is, how screwed down is Wolf Stride? His biggest target, this preparation is going to come up on October 9, but how ready to roll is he, and how will he be driven?
Yeah, it's very difficult to get a horse mid-preparation, so you don't really know how much they're sort of done when they come into the stable. Again, when he first sort of got there, he didn't work anything special. He worked nice, but the last couple of weeks we've sort of screwed him down a fair bit, and he just seems to be getting better and better. Been really happy with his 2 trials. He's in really good order. He's really healthy. We all know what a quality horse he is, and he's got to keep getting better as well because opposition keeps getting better. But I expect him to go pretty well, and he'll be driven to win the race. If the tempo slackens, I don't think Kate will have any hesitation putting him into the race. With Western Sonador, he's another quality horse, obviously, and he hasn't shown a lot of gate speed. There has been times that he has, but again, they're probably spacing his runs a little bit, looking at the bigger picture. So I'm not sure whether they'll test him too hard off the arm, but it is a little bit tricky race and a little bit intriguing race. We've got the back row draw to contend with, but he's a horse good enough to make his own, like I'd say, Wolf Stride.
Yeah, let me give you a scenario, okay? So Bonsell Benjamin's in front. Western Sonador, just through circumstances, landed himself in the breeze, and you've gotten off the inside and maybe, 10 or 12 metres off the leaders. Do you still think, even if the pace slackens, that Kate would go around and go to the breeze then to give Western Sonador cover? Or does she then just say to herself, okay, I reckon we might just be able to beat them for speed here, and life's going to be pretty hard and a lot harder on our major rival here, who I think is Western Sonador, if he's caught parked?
Yeah, obviously it all depends how hard they've gone early. But again, I don't think Kate will hesitate if the pace slackens. We're confident enough that, he can make his own like Wolf Stride. And, he's done a fair bit of work the last couple of weeks and 2 really, really good trials. So, he's pretty forward. I don't like that they are forward, but again, he's a new horse in the stable. Sometimes you don't know what you're doing is the right thing. So, again, he'll be put into the race.
Skeeter, I'm not overly confident that Western Sonador will lead, but there's something that tells me he's a lot quicker. And with Bonsell Benjamin drawn right next door, I just wonder, and I know this isn't the Victoria Cup, but I just wonder whether this isn't the time just to run him out a little bit above his own steam and might be able to find the front here. It'd be very intriguing. I don't know what Wolf Stride's capable of doing under those circumstances, but I think it's going to be one hell of a race if it's Wolf Stride in the breeze and Western Sonador in front.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, Bon. And the start will be interesting. I tended to think that Bonsell Benjamin, this is the first opportunity they've probably had in a little while to try and lead on him. And we know Herb told us not that long ago that he goes like a lion in front. So I tend to think that they may try and lead all the way with Bonsell Benjamin. I do think on Western Sonador he can get out quicker than we saw last time out. He was just allowed to come out under his own steam on that occasion. But the big aim for him, or the initial aim, is the BHRC Caduceus Classic next weekend. So he's not completely screwed down this week. I think he will. The run will do him good this week. That's not to say he can't win. I think he can absolutely win. But yeah, they have been aiming for that race next week as well. So yeah, it's going to be an intriguing first couple of 100 metres to see what happens, and really looking forward to this one.
Who have you tipped on top?
We'll Struve.
I've tipped Western Sonador. I don't know how a line goes in front, by the way. I'd love to see a line in front. We'll put a line in front of the field at some point and see exactly how they go. Ryan, everyone's talking Screwed Down. It's been used 15 times so far on the inaugural version of the Andy Gath Show. What do you think's going to happen here at the start? Spoke to Darby McGuigan on the radio today. I think he's pretty keen to lead with Bontel Benjamin.
Yeah, well, that's what my opinion was. He hasn't really had a good chance to roll to the top, and obviously he can grow a leg in front, and he's pretty hard to beat. Yeah, drawing 3, being next to Western Sonador is probably a good thing, because he has showed gate speed at times, but he's not the quickest out. And yeah, I think if Bontel Benjamin really pushes the button, he probably could lead, and yeah, that could bring Wolf Stride into the race too. So yeah, I'd be going Wolf Stride on top, just if Bontel Benjamin leads.
I'd be scared of Bontel Benjamin. He's a lion with 5 legs at the moment. He's grown a leg in front. He's a lion. He might be able to knock everyone over. What is the right price for Wolf Stride before we move on to question number 4, Andy?
Yeah, I think the market's probably right at the moment. I think it's about 220, 230. So, I think that's fair.
Yep. I thought there were 2 winning. Do we agree? Well, I know you do, Skeeter. Do you agree? Torrid saying they've backed it relentlessly into $3.50. That seems inaccurate to me, Andy.
Yeah, he's been savage at the line for, the last 3 months. He's been going really good, but when he has been winning, he's been fenced behind the leader, and, that opportunity's not probably going to be afforded to him this week.
No, well, if you want to have a bet, by all means add to turnover, but no for me. It's a no for me. The last of our burning questions is with thanks to Felvo Fruits, specialist in table grapes since the 1960s. Michael and Josie Felvo are keeping the tradition going, and everyone loves their grapes. Keep an eye out for Felvo Fruits. You'll love them. You'll love them. Don't deny it. You'll love them. Question 4. We'll go to you first this time. We'll actually go to Andy because it's should we book in quads 1 out with Tango, then with Madge? Now, I reckon they're not certainties. They're off awkward draws, but I want to book in my quaddy 1 out with the 2 of them. I think Tango Taro just looks a class above. And Majestuoso, everything just looks like it's going to fall into place for a Majestuoso win here, Andy. Would you be horribly disappointed if either of them lost? I
wouldn't be disappointed. I'd be disappointed if they didn't go.
Don't take it to me, Andy Gath Show, man. You would be disappointed. Would you be disappointed if they go good and they lost? Would you be disappointed?
Not if they go well. Again, Barry 8's so hard to win, and I got 3 of them this week, so you can have the 888 all up. But Tango Taro could have drawn 9. If you had to draw 9, he's probably $1.30 chance. 8's that's a little bit more tricky. Obviously, by the time you get off, you can be 40 metres off the leader sometimes. So, but again, he's really in the zone at the moment. We've probably worked him out on what level of work he needs to go into these races. So, been really happy with him, and it's probably a drop down in class for him. So, he's definitely going to be hard to beat. Majestuoso, Barry 8's not so bad because he's only 1 on the second row, and it could be a little bit of heat early. Yeah, he was probably a touch playing at Kilmore. He just sort of got a little bit lost on the bend, but his last 100 was really strong, and been really pleased with him since then. I just think he might have had a little bit of an off night, but his work since has been really good. So I expect the real Majestuoso to stand up there. And you've talked me into it. I will be disappointed if they both get beat.
The Jason Bonnington Show again. No, not yet. It's the Andy Gath Show. Ryan, you've gone from showing us your eyes to just a lot of neck and sort of upper pectoral action now. So we'll just straighten that phone up a little bit to get a little bit more eyes from you. There we are. Now we've seen most of the torso. That's the main thing. What do you think here? When you're looking at the form guide, are you thinking that Tango Taro and Majestuoso were going to be awfully, awfully difficult to beat?
Yeah. The Tango Taro looks the class above them horses. The 8 is a little bit sticky. He's going to have to do a bit of work, but his class should go in front of the rest of the horses. So he's going to have to do a bit of work, but I'd be pretty confident. And Majestuoso being 1 off the second row, it isn't too bad, as Andy said. And he's going to have to do a little bit of work, but it just both of them look like the races for them. Yeah.
There's question marks always. So I think there's less over Tango Tara personally, Skeeter, because even from gate 8 he gets off, he's the only one who can do the work. Like of the good horses here, he can do the work that's required to get him where he needs to be. Majestuoso is a little bit more dependent on tempo, but I'll be going 8 into a few into 8. I can tell you that right now. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think so. I think it definitely looks Tango Tara's race. His last two have been outstanding, haven't they? And he's just gone to a new level. So I definitely think he should be winning. And Majestuoso, I would be pretty confident, should also win. The other one in the race, in his main danger in the market as well on paper, I think, is Maori Law, who has been excellent this preparation, but especially his past two. We saw him coming off that back mark and running a really good race last time out. So potentially he's the only danger, just if the race pans out in his favour, but I think that they both should go pretty close to winning.
All right, just as we get to best bets, we need that phone right on your eyes here, Ryan. So get it, just straighten it up a little bit further. We've got a lot of. Yep, there's the upper pectoral. There, a little bit higher, or lower, or whatever it's required. Yes, more, little more. Yeah, that's it. All right. Best bet from you. I'm going to say mine already because you're driving in. So my best is going to be Tango Tara, but it's something better than, I think we'll get about $1.60 or $1.50 about Tango Tara. You're driving Dot the Eye in the first. He's led twice in about 197 starts, but I reckon he might be able to find the front and go very close. So he's my best at a price. What's your best of the night?
Yeah, I thought Final Piece for David Murphy. It's he had a little freshen up, and it's won first up the other week, and he should be three fence at worst, and it looks like a pretty good race to suit that horse, and yeah, I'd be pretty confident if I was David.
Skeeter?
Yeah, I've got a little bit of a value runner this week, and I'm taking Ryan on, actually. I'm going race 9, She Will Rock. I think she's been going really well, and it's in quite an even field. Yeah, I just thought it's a major surprise. Opened probably a little bit too short, about $2.10, I think, earlier in the week. So, yeah, I thought to around the $6.50 mark, She Will Rock should run a really good race.
I've got to learn to put like a happy emoji up in front of my face whenever anybody says something that I like. I can put a little happy emoji on Teams. I like She Will Rock. I've tipped her on top. Your turn. It's the Andy Gath Show, and this is what you've been waiting for, the best bet from Andy on the Andy Gath Show. What do you like?
Yeah, I don't really like anything, Jason. I don't think I overtipped this week.
You're not allowed to do that. Well, you actually got me on there for a second. I don't. Anyway, what are you tipping, Andy? After you've just thrown me under the bus? Yep.
No, I'm going to tip one of mine this week. Going to go with Swiss Miss. She goes very well first up, and her work the last couple of weeks has been top notch. So even though she's got a back line draw, I expect that she's going to go pretty close.
I thought she was one of the 3 key chances there. It's Andy Gath versus Paddy Lee, but Swiss Miss. We're going with one of his own runners. Have you got another Struve for us, or what? What? Can we dance? Got another Struve for 30-1?
Not this week.
Now, Andy, could you do us a favour? You gave us the intro. It was a little cut out, but can you give us an outro now and thank all the viewers for tuning into the Andy Gath Show, please?
Yeah. Thanks, everyone, watching the Andy Gath Show. Hopefully, last time you have to watch it. We'll be back to burning questions next week. Sorry about the sunglasses. Thanks to Ryan, Nikkita, and you too, Jason. So hopefully you all enjoyed the show, and hopefully Jason can finally tip a winner.
He'll make a host at some point. I'll have to do a little bit of one-on-one work with him. It's been the Andy Gath Show. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and hopefully we found a few winners. See you next week.